Good evening to everyone. As Greg said, my name is Hyman Johnson, and I'm very happy to be with you again this evening. This evening, we will experience an informative, inspiring, and Sai-inspired presentation by Dr. Venkat Kanubaddi. The presentation is entitled, The Healing Power of Divine Love for World Peace. Dr. Kanubaddi has had several personal experiences with Sathya Sai over many years. He has served as a cardiac anesthesiology consultant at the Sri Sathya Sai Super Specialty Hospital in Puttaparthi, India, and was the National Medical Director for Health Services during the United States pilgrimage to Prashanti Nilayam in 2010. In the US, Dr. Kanubaddi served as president of Region 5 from 2006 to 2011. Professionally, he is the past medical director of the Mind Body Wellness Center at St. Joseph Hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He later retired as the chief of anesthesiology at the Veterans Administration Medical Center, also in Fort Wayne. Dr. Kanubaddi escaped that too hot, then too cold Midwestern weather, as I did too many years ago. He now lives in Orlando, Florida, where he serves as the vice president of the Sathya Sai Center of Orlando. He and his wife, Janaki, have two sons who grew up as Sai young adults and are presently working as entrepreneurs. Welcome to Region 8, Brother Venkat.
Sai Ram. I offer my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Sathya Sai and my heartfelt gratitude to the Region 8 officers team with Greg Slee, Hyman Johnson, the IT team with Karthik, and all the Sai family of Region 8 for giving me this opportunity to share my spiritual journey regarding the healing power of divine love for world peace with the personal guidance from Swami. Thank you.
Well, we're really happy to have you with us this evening, Brother Venkat. Let me just start out by saying, during earlier discussions that you and I had, I learned that you have been blessed with many divine experiences with Lord Sai. So as we begin, and before we move into our theme for this evening, please tell us how you first came to Swami and briefly inspire us with whatever you wish to share about your earlier experiences with him.
Sai Ram, basically I just want to mention the story of how Bhagavan Sathya Sai pulled me into his fold. Swami always said that nobody can come to him without his calling. I was, born in a small village in Andhra Pradesh, India. Andhra Pradesh is the same state where Bhagavan Sathya Sai took human birth as the avatar of this age. I didn't know anything about him until late into my medical school years. Even then, I didn't have much interest because I only heard that he is a miracle man and I didn't know about his teachings. My heart was always longing for the answers for the bigger questions. Even as a child, I used to ponder about the bigger picture of this creation. Who are we? Where did we come from? Where are we going? What is the purpose of this life? For what we are going through all these life events? And so in that search, I looked for guidance from various, gurus And I happen to have Bhagavad Gita um, at our home, even though my parents and family are not too much into spirituality because we are farmers family. Still, we had the good fortune of having Bhagavad Gita at home. So even though they couldn't explain to me, I read everything in Bhagavad Gita. And even though I was a child and I couldn't comprehend very well the whole Bhagavad Gita, one thing really stood very prominent for me. The statement by Lord Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna, saying that he is the Brahman, he is the source from which the entire creation came forth. And that he is the source, sustenance, and substance of this entire creation. By various practices, if we can surrender to him and be guided by him, we can get back to the source and merge, be one with the divine, and get enlightened. That is the purpose for human birth, it was mentioned. But still, I couldn't comprehend much of that because, what is it that Brahman, what is that universal consciousness, what does it mean? I didn't have much understanding. So even though I was going through the school years and then went to medical college, my interest even got deeper because, I had the opportunity to study embryology and all the details about how the fetus grows up in the mother's womb and becomes a child, a baby. So in that sense, my interest continued in the spiritual search for the questions. So then I ended up going to various spiritual masters for the answers. And also I had the opportunity to study Vedanta with these masters. So I got several questions answered through Vedanta, that, the entire creation is unfolding from the universal consciousness called Brahman, and through various layers, it becomes one that we see. There is also invisible part, the energy universe, and then the material universe, and then the various beings in the creation, including humans. But in that, there is a statement saying that the one who gets to know Brahman will know everything and will be able to be the example of Brahman. Those are the ones that usually come every millennia and as avatars, not only to guide the mankind, but to protect the righteousness. And so in this age, I heard and read that Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba is the avatar. But I was not sure because, all the masters that I met were able to answer, but some of the critical questions of, all-knowingness, all being omnipresent, all those things they could not show to me. So as I was going through this, I, out of interest and curiosity, I ordered all the books and audio tapes of Bhagavan Sathya Sai, and then reviewed all the things that he discussed during the, in the books and also in the audios. And he answered many, many questions that my other masters could not answer. And the simplicity with which he was clarifying this amazed me. And also he repeatedly mentioned that he is the avatar, the divine consciousness that descended onto the earth during this time of Kali age. And so he will be the one to guide and guard and protect and lead us to the divinity that we are, the divine love that we are. And so in that sense, in one of the letters that he wrote to students, he actually clarified that. He said that there was no one to know who I am till I created this world at my pleasure with one word. Immediately the mountains rose up, the rivers started running, earth below and sky over its head. Oceans, seas, lands, and watersheds, sun, moon, and desert sands sprang up from nowhere to prove my existence. Then came all forms of human beings, beasts, birds, and various beings, speaking, hearing, with all the powers that were bestowed upon them. Under my orders, the first place was granted to mankind, and my knowledge was placed in the human mind. So the human birth is a special gift that Divine gave for us to seek and get back to the divinity that we are, the divine love that we are. This is the statement that Swami actually wrote to the students. So that made me feel like, wow, this is amazing. So he is confirming that he is the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent divine, that he knows everything, he knows all the sciences, all the aspects, all the spiritualities and everything. So even though he is looking at his background, he is very, very ordinary, small boy born in a village without much education and all that. So how is that possible? So that increased my curiosity. So then as we were searching, and the pulling came, and that, through this experience, and also showed me the power of healing power of divine love. This is the story of our pet, our divine pet called Sunshine, pet dog, puppy. So as he was, with us, he taught us so much about unconditional love. But one Christmas day in 1990, when he was playing with my sons in the snow, he fell and then suddenly he could not get up. So then I was at home that day because I was not on call. And so then when they came running saying, Dad, Sunshine is not able to get up, I don't know what happened. So I went quickly and saw that he is paralyzed. He could not get up. So I immediately called the veterinary spine specialist in our town. And he said, bring him right away. And we took him. He said, we'll keep for a few days, do all the tests and find any cause that is treatable. So he did all the tests and came back and said he could not find any fracture of the vertebrae or a fracture of the disc or thrombus or embolus in the arteries. And so there is nothing that they can intervene and help him heal. So they don't know the real reason how this happened. And the only option we have is either to take him home and take care of him for good because he lost his bladder and bowel functions and he cannot walk and get up. Or, if you want him, he can put him to sleep. So immediately we said, no, this is our son. And so we will take care of it no matter what. Even if I had to work day and night to support him, that will be fine. And so we took him home and we all were together around him and crying, and he was crying. Then it reminded me of Swami's teachings that Sathya Sai Baba was the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, divine incarnate. And so then thought, wow, so this may be an opportunity to pray to this divine and see if he responds and helps us. And so we had a picture of Bhagavan Sathya Sai from one of our friends, and And then we took it upstairs into our prayer room, because our prayer room was in the second floor in our house. And we took Sunshine along with us, put the picture on the altar, and then put Sunshine before the altar, and we all sat and then offered our heartfelt prayers to Bhagavan, saying that, Bhagavan, you say you are the avatar of this age, and you came down to guide the mankind. And here we are in a desperate situation with Sunshine paralyzed. If you can hear our prayer, and if we deserve your grace, please help us, and please help Sunshine. And that's how we prayed and cried. And then, believe it or not, by next morning, he was standing up. He was standing up in a couple of days. He gained his bladder function, bowel function, and he is back to his normal. And we thought, wow, this is really, really must be divine intervention, because there is no other way. That even when the doctors, veterinarians said there is nothing can be done, here he is getting up, walking around, and gaining back all the functions. So then it occurred to me that if there is an opportunity for me and our family to go to India and then have darshan of Bhagavan, that will be wonderful, and maybe give an opportunity to clarify if this is his intervention. So in 1991, in February, first time we went to Bhagavan Sathya Sai in Prashanti Nilayam, and we had beautiful darshan. And during darshan, Swami came really close to me. He created vibhuti, the holy ash, and put firmly on my third eye, and then pressed it. And so that transported me into a different dimension of bliss I never experienced before. All experiences I thought should be able to be explained through logic and reason. This blissful, powerful experience was beyond any logical explanation by the time I came back to the reality, he left the rest of the holy ash in my hand, and then he moved on, and he went to the other side and gave Father Namaskar to my wife, and that is how he blessed us. And then I could see the divine aura around him when he was walking towards me, when he was giving darshan also, the effulgence all around his head, and everything is like a bright divine light. And so that confirmed that Swami is the divinity, all-knowing. Subsequently, as we were making several trips, he gave me permission to work in the super specialty cardiac department as cardiac anesthesiologist. So I had that great opportunity to do that seva service in the super specialty hospital that Swami built, and they give excellent care for all the people for free. And that is one way Swami shows us how to do service. And during that also, I had several experiences, but Swami gave several interviews, and in one of the interviews, then I asked about this intervention with Sunshine, and he smiled and said, yes, I could hear your prayers, and the way that your prayers reached me, then I could send my love all the way from here to there and let it flow through Sunshine and clear all the blocks that created that issue. And so then he is healed. And so then Swami clarified how that divine love, when we invoke it and send it, to others, or if we can send it to our own body, mind, we can heal ourselves, heal others, but also when we learn the art of accessing that divine love and send it to the world, we can heal issues in the community, in the country, in the nation, and bring peace to the world. So that is how Swami, clarified this, through this experience. and he taught many things regarding the healing power of love. So, Sai-Ram.
Yes, these experiences are so wonderful, and there are so many of them, but each one, of course, is unique. And then, of course, the first darshan is always very exciting and very powerful. So let's move on, Dr. Venkat. You've engaged in extensive study and research over many years and have reflected deeply on the scientific and spiritual principles that are associated with the 5 koshas, those esoteric coverings that cloud our awareness of our own divinity. And so your work at the Mind Body Wellness Center and at the VA Medical Center, but also how Sai has inspired and supported that work, is of great interest to me, and I'm sure to our listeners as well. So if you will, please share how Sai himself and his teachings along these lines have informed and empowered your work. I know we have some visuals to show, and so I'll let you go at it again.
Thank you, Brother Hyman. So again, I just want to mention how through many personal interactions and interviews, Swami clarified this divine love as the source of this entire creation, and how that can be accessed, and we can use it for healing many issues at many levels. And so this is what Swami said regarding the divine pure love. Pure divine love is the cosmic force that forges the unity of all created beings. It is the cosmic energy from which the entire creation came forth. So which again, as I mentioned before, he validated through the letter to the students and confirmed it. So pure divine love resides within each person and each being of this universe. Whoever becomes aware of this presence within and knows the methods to invoke it can heal themselves, regain optimum health, but also can help others to heal and also help heal the world and bring peace and love. So this Swami explained also when he was clarifying how he healed. Again, I heal the diseases with a touch of my hand or loving look as an expression of my pure divine love for you. It is all love, the cosmic energy and the cosmic force. It is everything. With that power and force, I can transform earth into heaven. This is how Swami explained. And then when I showed my research regarding the various constitutional components of the our humans, and discussed, and Swami clarified everything, and then said, yeah, that is right. And then now you understand, you can share this message with the rest of brothers and sisters, and help them to access that divine love so that they can also be part of this healing process for everyone.
Okay, so are you ready for the first slide now?
Yeah, we can go with the first slide.
Okay.
So this first slide is the one, briefly I will go, because I will let you take a look at this slide, all of you, and pay attention. I'll go quickly because of time factor. So the divine consciousness comes down into the fetus in the mother's womb as individual consciousness. You see that as a core of consciousness called Sushumna. You see that as a white beam of light coming from the head and then coming down all the way down through. And so that is called Sushumna. And then that cosmic consciousness, or the individual consciousness, when it becomes into the body, then it unfolds into the various layers or koshas. These are the various, in medical terms, we call it, the causal body, intellectual body, mental body, etheric body, and physical body. So they kind of, based on the energy frequencies, next to the divine consciousness is the causal body or Anandamaya kosha. This is where we get the blueprint, cosmic blueprint for our birth this time, so that we can go through the experiences and all the things that we have to learn. And then next layer is the intellectual body, where we are gifted with the discrimination to know right from wrong. And that's why Swami said human birth is blessed to be the utmost one in the creation, so that they are gifted with this faculty. Then comes the Manomaya kosha, the mental body, or it is the emotional mind, where we react. Normally that is where we operate most of the time, simply react to the situation rather than using discrimination and acting. And that most of the times can lead to the wrong direction if we react without discrimination, without intellectual intervention. And then as it consolidates further, it becomes the physiological body, or pranamaya kosha, or etheric body. That is where we have all our physiological systems of circulation, breathing, digestion, and all so forth. And then when further consolidates, it becomes the physical body. So that's where we see the skin, muscles, tendons, bones, and all the things that are visible part of the body. So this is simply comparable to the small example that Swami clarified is the H2O, which is the water molecule, comparable to the individual consciousness. When it unfolds into the subtler aspect in the energy level, it becomes vapor, that is comparable to the causal body and intellectual body. And then when it consolidates further, it becomes water, and that is comparable to the mental body and etheric body. And when it consolidates further, it is ice, and it becomes visible in a different way. So in that sense, we are similar to that situation, where we may look different at the body level. We may think differently because of the manomaya kosha and intellectual kosha, and our blueprints may be different based on our karmic journey, genetic codes. So once we understand that we are composed of all these layers, and the center of it all is the consciousness or the divine love, loving energy, and that, if it is pure, and all the layers are not blocked with bad thoughts, wrong foods, and other wrong habits, then we will be able to flush it out with this divine love and clear and bring the healing. So we'll go to the next slide, and we can quickly discuss about how the healing happens and the layers of love for us to understand how that works. So we'll go to the next slide. So this one, as you can see, this is described in relation to the 5 human sheaths. And just for understanding's sake, I put the divine love at the bottom because it is the most subtle or unseen. And so then the other layers are one on top of each other, coming to the physical body at the highest concrete level. So if you see, we call everything love, and if we understand the way to go from the superficial love that is related to the objects that is at the anatomical body are comparable with the highest expectation level and selfishness scale. So that is where we compare our love to the love of a car or a toy or a home or something, but that is very superficial layer of love. That is when there is an issue with that particular object, then we want to get and forget. So we want to get rid of it because it is causing me some difficulty. So that is how superficial it is. Then comes the brotherly love, that is the comparable to the physiological body. Expectation level is a little bit less, but there is still quite a bit of expectation. So that's why it is comparable to the physiological body, and then comes the spousal love, where it is comparable to the emotional mind. It is about halfway in the expectation scale, and it is evolving to the higher level, but it is halfway. So this is where the wife and husband, they will have some transactional relationships, even though there is possibility for pure love, but it is 50-50. So, that's why Swami jokingly says, if wife is the right one for you, then you call her wife is your life. And if she's not the right one with too many transactional issues, then wife becomes your knife. And so this is just an interesting way of saying that how it is transactional, but it can be evolving into the higher level. Then comes fatherly love, comparable to the intellectual mind. That is also better than spousal love, but still a little bit less than the next level, motherly love. So here there are some conditions. Fathers tell the children, yeah, you have to do this, and that to gain my love, to get my love. And so then there are some demands, and it is certainly better than the level of spousal love, but it is still somewhat conditional. And it is comparable to the, in the evolutionary ladder, to the humans. And then comes the motherly love. In the human level, this is called the highest one, comparable to the intuitive mind or the Anandamaya kosha or unconscious mind. And the expectation scale is only 1. Basically, even if someone tells your son is a thief, and she will say, no, he may have done it by mistake, or maybe he was in the wrong company, this and that. So she will try to justify and always show love and forgiveness. So that is the highest, and this is comparable to the sages and saints and divine beings in the other dimensions. And then is the highest form is the divine love, the pure consciousness. This is no conditions. If you see, expectation scale is 0, selfishness scale is 0, and that is divinity. And the only operational thing is give and forgive. So there is no conditions, and it's always highest. If we can access that level, no matter where we are, we could be a brother, we could be a spouse, we could be a father, we could be a mother, we could be anything in the ladder, but we have the power to access that higher level and go there. And once we invoke that, then we can clear all the blocks and bring the healing. When we send that love to ourselves, tapping it from Swami and then letting it flush through all the koshas and pervade us, then we can heal ourselves. Then we can send that love from our divine heart, divine love, to other friends, family, anybody who is going through challenges or difficulties. And then that will also bring healing by flushing any blocks that they created due to wrong habits or anything. And then when we learn the art of spreading that love through selfless service projects and activities that will encourage, then it will clear the community issues and then bring peace in the community and the world. Sairam.
Well, that's wonderful. I remember as we prepared for this meeting, for this discussion, I was really intrigued by the way that you lined out, the various levels of love. And so much of it, of course, is, transactional love, as you mentioned. But Swami himself was the embodiment of love. And Jesus' teachings were centered always on love. And of course, the teachings of Buddha, Krishna, Rama, all the great ones always had love at the center. So anyway, I just, circling back a little bit to our theme for this evening, the healing power of divine love for world peace. I have a final question for you, brother. And you've already began to address it, but a little bit more on how is it that the healing power of divine love can bring about peace in the entire world?
Okay, Sai Ram, here I just want to give an experience that Phyllis Krystal shared in her book called Sai Baba Ultimate Experiences. But also just to mention a little bit about Phyllis Krystal, for those who may not be familiar with her, she is a long-time devotee of Bhagavan Sathya Sai with immense powerful experiences, and she is a psychotherapist, and she went around the world teaching Swami's message of divine love through these workshops, how to cut the knots of the karma and release ourselves to the higher level and spread the love. So in that sense, I just want to share one example that she gave, our experience that she shared, so that how we can use that to bring the world peace. In 1974, when Phyllis and her husband were traveling back from Prashanti Nilayam to USA through London, their plane was hijacked in the Middle East. On the way to London, they had a brief stop at Bahrain, and then as they're going to London, the terrorists were able to get there, and then they were showing guns to the pilot and all the people, and then asking for, as a ransom to release their colleagues of terrorist brothers, their brothers, to be released, for the plane to be released, otherwise they will blow it up. So at that time, Phyllis was sitting there, and she didn't have any fear, amazingly, but she was wondering, Swami, how to prevent this? These people are hurting, going to hurt and blow up the whole plane and hurt so many people. And then, being a spiritually advanced soul, she could hear Swami's voice within, and it said, "Send your love to these people, so that they can stop doing what they're doing." And then she replied to Swami, Swami, they look like monsters. I will not be able to send my love. Please help. And then she heard again Swami saying, then send my love, draw my love into you, and through you send it to them. And she closed her eyes and went into meditation, and then access to the divine love of Swami, and then brought it down to her, and then through her heart, she spread it to the people. And amazingly, they changed their mind and allowed the plane to be taken to Amsterdam and landed and released all of them without hurting anyone. So this is an example that she mentioned, that when we learn the art of accessing the divine love and then spreading it to the community in difficult situations, and to the leaders also, or anything that is really disturbing, it can bring healing. And through this process, if we practice, we can bring peace in the world and joy in the universe.
Yeah, I had the great benefit of knowing Phyllis Krystal. And I may have mentioned to you, I'm not sure, but the one time that we were together in the Bay Area talking with young adults, and towards the end of the day, they wanted us to answer some questions. And so she sat on the ladies' side, I sat on the men's side, and we did a lovely little tag team. I felt very humble, being on a stage with Phyllis Krystal at that time, but it was just such a lovely time, and I can still sort of see her sitting across from me that period that we were together. Anyway, this power of love, sometimes we conceive it as an energy, which essentially it is. It's pure Shakti. And so it's so wonderful what you've shared. These times are really unique. They're uniquely challenging in so many different ways. And, so we're really grateful for the wonderful insights that you've shared, Brother Venkat. And how we can do something about what's going on in the world today through the power of love. Needless to say, faith in these principles, faith in this process and in Sai's divine love is just essential to our own spiritual clarity and self-transformation. And so this insight, that you provided to us is very, very helpful. As Lord Sai has said to us, love, God, is your indweller. He is the greatest lover of mankind. Love God with all your heart and with no other thought, and feel that without him, nothing is worth anything. Feel that he is all. Then you become his and he becomes yours. There is no kinship nearer than that. Love for God will transform your heart, he has told us. Well, Region 8, we look forward to being with you again next time. Yet in the meanwhile, may we all stick to the task for which we have taken birth and continue to practice the universal human values of truth, right action, peace, love, and nonviolence with greater intensity, greater consistency, and greater sincerity, so we can help bring more peace, more love, more happiness, more morality, and more healing into our world. May the one indivisible absolute, the supreme Lord of pure love, continue to guard, guide, and bless us all. Thanks again, Brother Venkat. It was really wonderful working with you and listening to your presentation.